to you tonight about a concept that is central to many geographic inquiries, access. Many people are concerned with measuring access to many different types of things. Businesses want to know who has access to their stores and how they can place new stores to maximize access. Health officials want to know who has access to health care and how that might impact medical decisions. Economists might want to know who has access to jobs, and city planners might want to know who has access to existing parks. Central to these kinds of questions is often a corollary, one which may go unspoken, that's interested in equity. Some people will have access and others won't. But are there systematic differences between these two groups that might raise concern? Before I can answer these questions, you have to answer a more basic one. Just what does it mean to have access? The question is more problematic than you might think. And I'll demonstrate that by asking who in Philadelphia has access to a park within half a mile of their home. Your first thought might be, okay, half a mile from a park, so you should just measure out half a mile from the edge of each park and find out how many people live there, and then you'll know who has access and who doesn't. And this is what that looks like. Is that an accurate representation of areas that are accessible to parks? What if we look at this part of the city here, and we ask, does this person who lives here really have access to this park? One alternative is to focus on walking distance along a street network, and that will give you a different picture of who has access and who doesn't. But this might be problematic too, especially considering equity. Yes, people who live within these areas are within walking distance of a park, but some of them can walk to this, and some of them can walk to this. And it's not just a question of quality, it may also be a question of quantity, just how big is the nearest park, and how many total acres of parkland are nearby. These are not trivial questions. They give very different results when you start to consider equity along racial lines. In Philadelphia, blacks and Hispanics are more likely than whites to live near a park, but whites live near much larger amounts of park space than blacks or Hispanics. So what does this tell us about equity and access to parks in Philadelphia? Well, that depends on your answer to another question. Just what do we mean by equity? And that's a topic for another talk.